The Stack. People, Business, Technology. With Dan Tomaszewski of Everything MSP.
All right, welcome back. We are here with Mr. Mike DePalma, who's the Vice President of Business Development for OpenText. How you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. Now, one of the things we always do is, when we get these type of interviews, we always like to reach out to, some MSPs, just to say, what are some things that they want to learn, about the vendor, right?
Yep.
And, one of the biggest questions that came up was, and it was like MSP after MSP, is what exactly was it that, you did to make Steve Harvey laugh so hard?
Well, I was on the Family Feud a few years back. We won the 20 grand, hit it right on the nose. It was a kind of a blue joke that I told. I don't think I could tell it on your podcast, but I got him laughing pretty hard. I'll tell you, maybe I've told you, but it's not something suitable for kids. But I got him laughing. Like I always say, 20 grand was great. I got Steve Harvey to laugh on live TV. So
that's awesome. Yeah. That is very cool.
Didn't know that question was coming.
Wasn't part of the script or anything. We always got to throw in something to,
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's talk about the event. What's one of the most exciting things that you'd say some of the events are?
Man, I've been doing this over 10 years. This has one of those old-fashioned deals. Remember, like the 2016, 2017 wave where it was just the excitement, like it has that energy. The days go by really fast.
Yeah.
Believe me, as the vendor, sometimes these days go by very slow.
Yeah.
When you're at these events. No surprise. Rob is going to put on a good event, but it's that great combination of fun and energy, but they provide legitimately some of the best, just straight educational content.
Okay.
I transparently, I don't sit into a lot of sessions of like the events. I try to sit in as many, but if I wasn't doing an interview or had a meeting, I was trying to jump in because they're really solid. And then, but the energy, you could just see it. We just had our breakout session, and you always look and scan in the room, who's looking at their phone. Everybody was engaged. And I think it was just the energy of it feeds all portions of it. So it does have that kind of old fashioned, this is what the channel is. Yeah. It's a podcast row here. It's been exciting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's been a phenomenal.
Well, we've been speaking to a lot of MSPs and just kind of getting their feedback, and that educational component is one of the things that's been brought up. One gentleman we were just talking to, he said, some conferences, it's so much more sales focused, and he said it's a solid mix of education and all the solutions that are available. So
and as a vendor, I always say you don't sell from the stage, you sell from the booth, right? So you've got a 20-minute session, you want to make it educational even as a vendor.
Yeah.
And you get that sense it fits into the theme. A lot of these events say they're going to be educational, and all they are is just pitch.
Right.
I would much rather stand up there and talk about the landscape and where I fits in and all that. So then come to the booth, you want a demo, that's where that's done.
Yeah.
But the theme of this kind of even permeates, I think, the vendors are different.
Yeah. So can you tell me about OpenText? For our audience that might not be familiar with OpenText, what do you guys do?
Yeah, it's been the number one question. So there's twofold. So OpenText is a company. We have about 25,000 employees, about $8 billion in revenue. It's a large, enterprise space. The department that I'm part of is the cybersecurity space, which is the channel arm.
Okay.
Right. So a lot of it's been done through, a lot of people don't realize they're OpenText partners because a lot of it's been done through acquisition. So we own Zix, we own WebRoot, AppRiver, Pillar, Carbonite. And so what we've done now with OpenText cybersecurity is we've combined them all under one umbrella. There's one single pane of glass that everybody's talking about, the secure cloud. We're able to manage all these devices. And really one of the differentiators, because we're publicly traded, we've kind of gotten past that hump. We don't require any contracts with anybody. We're not answering to anybody. And because we're this large company, we're this little division over here that's just like, all right, you guys make revenue, you do what you want. So it's refreshing to be able to say, hey, we got free trials with everybody. We want to be month to month. You are month to month. We don't even have contracts. It's great. And I think that's one of the things as I've been going about, I've only been here 3 months, is because that's the number one question I get. Like, hey, Mike, congratulations on a new gig. What does OpenText do?
Right.
And then when you start talking about, it's a full cybersecurity suite. We're the only Microsoft CSP that also has our own IP. So we don't resell any of these products. These are companies that we own.
Okay.
This is our security stack. That's another thing that people are kind of confused about. Are you reselling these? Like, no, these are our products. We're continuing to make investments in it.
Yeah.
So it's been, been a phenomenal first 3 months.
Excellent. When you take a look at it, the role of MSPs today, is there something that really resonates with you that MSPs are, wanting to embrace or are starting to embrace different?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. We've seen, obviously, in the channel, 10 years I've been here, there's all these vendors, and there was on the acquisitions and consolidation,
Right.
and there was that whole shift to, vendor sprawl is a problem, and it is, right? You want to, but the opposite of vendor sprawl isn't to just work with one vendor either. There's a middle ground there. So what we're trying to do and what's been resonating is just be very flexible. So you have those bundles if you want to bundle in email security, or if you want to go a la carte, you can. We continue to enhance our integrations with everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's what the channel wants, is the flexibility to say, yeah, for some instances, bundling is great, but in some instances, my package requires me working with other vendors. And I think that's what we're seeing as everybody's trying to differentiate themselves on the MSP side.
Yeah.
The special sauce is how you deliver it,
Right.
and that requires flexibility. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the roadmap that we're going down.
Would you say that you're seeing more and more MSPs embracing business outcome instead of the technical side?
Oh, 100%. And that's something we've seen, and we've talked about, as the channel matures and you see folks kind of taking their tech hat off and putting their CEO cap on,
Yeah.
and understanding that. I don't know any and I shouldn't be saying this as a vendor, we got the best products ever, right? But I don't know any very successful MSP that says, well, how did you get there? Well, I had the best technical stack.
Right.
That's never been that. Special sauce is that.
Yeah.
How are you operating? How are you becoming profitable? How are you going to market? How are you servicing your clients? Like that special sauce, that is what makes sense. And I think you're seeing a lot of the vendors kind of feed into that and say, okay, well, where can I make investments? Well, let's make investments in enablement,
Right.
education, things like that.
Excellent. As we wrap up, one piece of advice that you give to any MSP.
I said on the last one, I'll stick with it, and I've got no skin in the game. Join an accountability group or a peer group.
Excellent.
Leverage your peers. That's the one consistent thing I've seen with successful MSPs is embracing the channel and working with other MSPs. It's a very collaborative community. Take advantage of it.
Excellent. Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's always great talking with
Yeah, I
you.
appreciate it.
And everybody else, we'll talk with you soon. Take care.
Thank you for listening to The Stack.